Hey, Ronny Dahl, Four Wheeling Australia, and welcome to the Q&A part of Modified episode 100. So I've broken it up, and here we are. Why don't I have coils? Why haven't I stretched it? Why have I not got a canopy on the back? And why did I go to such length to redo the interior? All those questions, plus more, are answered right here in this video. So a few people from the industry have also asked some questions that are very similar to the questions that you guys have asked in the comments below. So these questions have been answered right here in the pine plantation, out in the bush from the other day, and of course at night at my bush camp. So let's get to it, guys. So why didn't I go for a coil suspension? Well, I've been driving on leaf suspension for nearly 9 years and I'm used to it. I'm used to how it handles and it flexes fine on the rear. And even now with a 4-ton sort of lift kit in it, it flexes fine. But the main reason why I'm sticking with leaf springs is because WA. If you're remote outback WA or even halfway to the east coast, that is the most remote part of Australia. Now, if something should fail on the rear of my car, no town's gonna have anything for me because a coil conversion is a coil conversion. There's so many other different things that go into it. You can't just get that off the shelf anywhere. A leaf pack I can get from any mine site, any remote community. So therefore, that's why I'm sticking with rear leafs. And the way it handles is absolutely fine. I have been in a coil converted vehicle before, and to be honest, I couldn't tell much difference. Although it wasn't the superior one I've tried out, but I just didn't really notice that much difference. I don't see the worth of doing that. And that's just my opinion. And also because of remote travel. Look, of course, if you're close to town and you're not doing remote travel, why not? If you want to get a bit more flex out of your car, sure. I have snapped a chromoly axle before in the J-Max diff we used to have, and there's no way I could get that overnight. So I had to limp home 3,000 kilometers in one-wheel drive that time from the Flinders range. So there's a good example of what can happen if you put stuff in your vehicle that is hard to get. Now, of course, chromoly axle shouldn't have snapped. So hopefully the ones that are in this one will hold up a lot better than the ones I had before. Although it did cop a bit of abuse, the other one, I mean, you're gonna push something hard enough, it will break, but it's not like I did stupid stuff. That's all I'm saying, and that's where I'm gonna leave it. I can tell you that the worst mod I've ever done to it is not on it right now. It would have been having a big ass canopy on the back. I would say that is probably the worst mod I've ever done, is having too much weight on the back of the vehicle. And therefore today still we are a very lightweight build. It's still heavy, but it's lightweight compared to a lot of other vehicles out there with big canopies on the back. Question under the bonnet from Sam Isles and both Maybach cleanups.
Ronny, performance under the bonnet. Notice you've put a big cross-country cooler on there. Notice you stuck with top mount and didn't go to a front mount. Reasonings behind that, and what kind of power increase are you getting there with the vehicle? How does it handle?
Boy, g'day, Ronny, it's Sam here. It's been a while since I've seen you. Hope you're going well over there. Now, I've got some questions about this cruiser. I'm going to start off with the motor. Sounds like you haven't done much of that engine. I know for a fact it has done a ton of dyno runs. So why haven't you given it a bit of a tickle, a rebuild, and do you trust the thing, reliability-wise, to go on these big trips?
Sam, I'll answer your question first. Yes, you do know it's had more than a ton of dyno runs. This was an R&D vehicle for PDP. So since those engine tunes, I haven't done any other tunes to it. I'm happy with the tunes they've given me, and when I first got them, I got a dial back so to keep the vehicle reliable. Now Torbs, he has abused and used his engine a lot harder than I have. That's just the way he drives. Sorry Torbs, but you do abuse your engine a lot more than I do. Most of the time anyway. I do also abuse mine a little bit. He has got nearly 500,000 Ks out of his, 500,000. I'm only about halfway there because I try not to use mine as a daily. So I've still got a lot of Ks left in this motor, and I don't want to push it. I've got enough power. I don't care about the numbers. So Bo, you asked me about the numbers that I'm getting out of the tune. I don't even know, actually. It's been a long time ago, and I don't really care, to be honest, because to me it's how it drives. It feels good, got enough power. Yes, there's only been a couple of times where I may wish I had a bit more power, but at the end of the day, it came down to tire pressures because I was on sand. And that's usually the only time people would wish they had more power, was to get over, it's through sand. Sand sucks your power. Towing also sucks your power, but this thing tows without any issues at all. It's got more than I need. The cooling is mainly there to prolong the life of the engine, to help it out by cooling it. So I'm not putting more stress on the engine, I'm actually alleviating stress on the engine by doing these two modifications here. Bo, you asked why I didn't go for a front mount and I went for a top mount. Toyota designed the vehicle for a top mount. That's reason number one. Reason number two, I didn't want it to be at the front here being the first thing that will cop a stick or bugs or birds and things like that that sometimes make it through your grill. I'd rather have the aircon condenser sort of grill being the first thing protecting the radiator, if that makes sense. So I'm happy where it is, and I'm happy how the motor is, and that's why I haven't tickled it anymore. Hello, snorkel. Why didn't I change the snorkel? If it ain't broke, no need to fix it, right? I didn't see a need to change it. Yeah, it would look prettier because it's new, but I'll put the same snorkel on. It's just a standard safari snorkel. I don't believe I need an R-Max because I don't believe they really make a difference. They just look big and bulky on the outside. And I only think the R-Max looks okay if you've got scrub rails. I don't have scrub rails. I don't want this big bulgy thing hanging off the side of my car, so that answers that question. What are my top 3 favourite mods on the vehicle? In no particular order, I'm going to say the interior, because it is absolutely amazing. Number 2 will be having a suspension kit that is not only legal, but everything is right. Nothing contacts anything, nothing clunks that shouldn't be clunking. Just everything feels right. It feels like a new car. Okay, I'm gonna go with having touring tires and having a play set, because it's not really a common thing, right? So to me, that stands out. So having a set of tires for play, which are absolutely incredible off-road, and a set of tires for touring, which are still great off-road, but incredible as an all-rounder. Those will be the top 3 that I'll pick, with a lot of other mods just sitting there in 4th position, like the LUTs and all those other things, but I can only pick 3. Damn. Now I know how hard the question is to answer. Very simple question, simple answer. How do I stick my patches to my ceiling? Well, the patches we sell on our website, this is a shameless plug right here too. It's got the hard bit of the Velcro on the back, and it simply sticks to the lining. Not all vehicles have this lining though. Other ways of doing it, or where's a patch that doesn't normally have it? The Danish flag, I've actually stuck something on the back of it because it's like a iron-on patch. That's another way I've done it, just so you know. Get in the store and get the proper ones. The boys from Sidetracked Australia have a question.
Oh well, there we have it. Another sidetrack trip in the books. One of the best too.
Good trip.
It was a good trip.
Seatbelt not on there.
Oh,
I've been in the car for 8 hours.
that's my bad. You should probably make sure that all your occupants are secured. Anyway, a couple of questions, or a question for.
We've got a question for Ronny.
Yeah.
That 79. It's actually not a bad looking bus, I must say.
I think it looks better now.
Definitely, 100%. I think you'd be happy that we said that too.
Ron, all right, question for you, mate. The 79, you've remastered it, he's rebuilt it.
That's one thing we can agree on. He has rebuilt it.
Yes, yep, definitely. Now, why? Was there ever a consideration of starting a new project, a new build, a new vehicle, hell, even a new 79? Why have you completely changed the OG four-wheel in Australia 79?
Yeah, good question, actually. Not a bad question. Well, realise that one, Ronnie. We'll catch you on the tracks.
We'll see you out there, mate.
I've had this vehicle for 9 years. I've done a lot with it. I've been to a lot of places with it. I had a lot of great moments, great campsites. I'm actually attached to this vehicle. Embarrassing enough as it is, I'm attached to this vehicle. I love the vehicle, I love everything about it, and I would like to use this vehicle for a long time to come. So this is my forever vehicle. As you know, the Hilux is for sale. And here's the reason that most people would relate to and understand. I can't afford to buy a brand new 79 again and then do it all up again. This vehicle already had a whole heap of stuff on it. Yes, I had to spend a lot of money on maintenance and getting it back up to scratch and doing a big service myself and doing a lot of DIY stuff but getting a lot of help as well to get it to where it is now. So imagine what a brand new vehicle would have entailed. Like, I don't think my budget would have been able to cover that. Although I would have sold this to buy another, and yeah, why buy another 79 when I have a 79? But other platforms, have I considered them? Well, yeah, I had a Hilux for a bit and now I'm selling it. Worst thing about a 79 series Land Cruiser or any 70 series Land Cruiser. When they're stock, they're basic. They're so basic. But they're pretty capable from basic. They're just so damn basic. It's you got a capable shell that's got no bells and no whistles. That's the worst thing about a 79 series. You have to spend a lot of money on them to make them anything. If you're not going to spend money on a 79 series or a 70 series Land Cruiser, do not get a 70 series Land Cruiser. If you're going to spend a lot of money on a vehicle to build it into what you want, then get a 70 series Land Cruiser. That's where I will leave that with my opinion, of course. Someone else asked me, what Kenwood deck have I got in? I don't actually know the spec on it. I could probably look it up or call the guy who put it in for me. All I know is it cost me about 1,700 bucks and it's the top of the line one. That's what I got told. It was the top of the line Kenwood deck and that's the one I put in. They're also hard to get because, like a lot of things, because of that chip factory in Japan that burnt down, it's one of those things that's hard to get. So good luck if you're looking for a Kenwood stereo. I was lucky enough.
All right, g'day guys, Matt from the Explore Life here. Very excited to see the new truck, Ronny. Couple of quick questions, mate. First off, why the red colour scheme? Why not a different colour? Where was the inspiration behind running the red throughout the whole vehicle?
I don't actually have an answer for that. It kind of just happened. It kind of just happened. It actually all started with the Toyota badge on the front. I had this thought of making it red, and then I just thought of red and black. That's how it happened. It all started with the badge and went on from there. Actually, I now know where it just clicked in my head. There was a 76 series. I've forgotten his name. Mo, if you're watching, and I know you probably will be, your Sandy Torp 76 series with that red badge on the front, that was the inspiration for the red. I just thought of it then. It just clicked to me then. That's actually really interesting. Just answered a question for myself. Huh.
Ronny, when are you going to see the light, mate, and finally put a rooftop tent on top of the 79? I thought when you revamped it, you might have seen the light, but it doesn't look like you have.
I'm just going to say that you're a bit posh, mate. Nah, just kidding. A lot of people have RTTs on their roof. I just don't like that amount of weight on top of my vehicle. Four-wheel drives are pretty high as they are, so I wouldn't want that on it. The only time I would ever do it on a vehicle would be a troopy, because you're doing a roof conversion. You're cutting the roof off, you're chucking that away. So there goes 50 to 80 kilos, I guess, not sure how much actually. And then you put on your roof conversion and that roof conversion won't add as much weight as it would if you put a rooftop on top of the roof, if that makes sense. That's the only time I would do it, because then you're not adding too much. And in a troopy, it's kind of a home on wheels, you kind of want to do that. That's my answer.
Jamie here from the Australian Bushman series. I've got to ask you a couple of questions about the Cruiser. Now tell me why such a big console going into the back, and then why the bench seat's gone and you've got 2 buckets in the back. I really want to know what's going on there, mate.
Awesome question there, Jamie. Also, a lot of the audience asked the same question. Why the 4-seat conversion and why gone to this length to do it all? Number one reason, this vehicle is 2013. I haven't gone and bought another vehicle and started from scratch. This is something I've done in addition to the vehicle. So if you look at all the things I've done to the car, yes, there's a lot of stuff I've done to the vehicle, but a lot of it's been over time. And the rest lately has all been sort of compressed into the last 5 months. It's taken a while to do this. So yes, a lot of effort and cash is splurged on the inside here, but I'm keeping this car for at least another 9 years and beyond. So why not have it comfortable? Reason number 2, I've only got 2 kids. I don't intend on having any more kids. So the most people who will ever be in this vehicle, 2 adults, 2 kids. Reason number 3, the bench seat in a 79 series is woeful. In a 76 as well, woeful. They're really crappy seats. They don't hold passengers in. And yes, I understand, you know, they're just kids in the back, they're quite small, but they're still getting tossed around when you're going full driving. It's much more comfortable having seats like that in the back as you have in the front. So if I'm going to go to that length and I'm keeping the vehicle for that long, I could justify doing that with the seats in the back. The kids love it, absolutely comfortable. The bit in the middle, the reason why I've done that is, well, I wanted to fill that void of space, and then rather just having a void, I've extended the center console all the way to the back, and we can actually store items in there. Before, we used to store things in the middle between the kids, and that stuff would just keep moving around, and it'll be like a washing machine after a full drive trip, just going everywhere. So it keeps it more organized, it keeps it neater, it's made more comfortable, and the seats are more reclined as opposed to the straight up bench seats that were in there before. That's my reason. I hope that makes sense. Most unnecessary mod on the vehicle. To be honest, most of the stuff on the vehicle is probably unnecessary. That said, however, it makes this vehicle a dream to drive. Like an absolute dream. Almost makes it like a wet dream to drive. That sounds pretty wrong actually. Maybe I'll leave that part out. One of the most asked questions from the audience, and also a question asked by Sam Isles, is this.
I want to know, with the setup on the back, it looks like you've gone for a tray and no canopy at all, not any like internal storage. Why have you done that? Because obviously you've got camera gear, all that kind of stuff that you want to keep out of the weather. So I'm just curious why you haven't gone at least a half sort of dog box, and it takes away a lot of space for things like solar panels as well. So just curious about that.
I haven't gone with a canopy because I don't feel I need a canopy. I have a couple of boxes in the back here. I've got everything I need that's in the back here, like my swag and all that. Solar, I've got on the roof rack. It fits up there quite nice. I don't want too much weight on the roof, so that's kind of just all fixed with everything that's on there that I need. So the way this vehicle is set up is I don't need a canopy. If I'm going on a long trip and we're going for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or it's just a trip where we need a lot of equipment with us, I'll tow a trailer. That's how I set it up. So therefore, I don't need a box. It saves me weight, saves me fuel, saves me wear and tear on the rear axle. And that's about all I got to really say about that. Like, where do I keep my camera gear? Well, I keep it on the back seats. If I'm traveling with the girls, I usually have a trailer with me. So it's always another way to combine and make up for the needs that I have for each trip. If you're going to carry a lot of weight, which I'm not, but if I was, then I probably would consider stretching it, because where the axle is at the moment is too close to the cab. There's too much tray overhanging the back. But the way I've set mine up, that's not a problem. Half canopy, not a problem. But if you put a full canopy on a 79 series, you are probably going to want to stretch it if you want it to drive properly. But then don't expect it to be able to turn on tight corners, and don't expect it to do too well on the real rough stuff, because now your wheelbase is so much longer, you're going to have a really bad ramp over angle. Your ramp over angle is going to be disgusting. You set your car up for what you want to use it for. So if you're going to just use it purely for a big tourer, you're going to put a big box on the back, you're going to put a big home on wheels kind of thing, then yeah, I would stretch it. I would put a big canopy on it and I wouldn't tow. That's what I would have done, but that's not what this vehicle is set up for. Why I didn't get an auto. And a lot of people actually anticipated I was going to get an automatic transmission in this vehicle. I'm not a big fan of autos, I've got to say. Although I did enjoy the automatic in the cars I've been test driving, in the Hilux that I had recently. It has been pretty relaxing having auto, but when you go proper off-road, when you want to be mechanically synced to your vehicle and feel everything and, you know, feel every bump and all those things, you can't do that with an automatic. You've got to have a manual transmission. Manual transmission, more control in my opinion, which is arguable, I guess, because you can have more, it depends how you look at it. But I find you get more control in manual, more fun in a manual, and if something goes wrong, you can usually catch a different gear or something. Yes, of course, you can get a clutch slipping and all that, but with an automatic, you can get all kinds of other things. I wouldn't need a transmission cooler and all those other things as well, like you have to have with an automatic. So manual, stick shift all the way. I just want to drop in here with a mention for you guys. Thank you very much for all the support when you watched that video as well, Modify 100. Thanks for hitting up the merch store and getting yourself some t-shirts and some patches. So we had a really good response there, and it really goes to help the channel. So thanks very much, guys. Thanks for the support. And anyone else out there, if you haven't got one yet, well, there's your chance to go and get one as well. Alrighty, next question. This question is going to be answered in selfie mode. It's just a bit easier. So up here, this roof console is a separate thing. You can actually get that from custom installations. Just thought I'd drop that in because a lot of people think that this is all like a full custom thing. The collaboration between us, we designed this shape to make it more usable from experience. So these are available, and the front console here is available. It's not one piece that goes all the way through. This piece at the back is only designed for the 4-seat conversion with the on-track fab sort of frame that the seats sit on. So that is like for the back, but right here it's split, so you can just get this part, which has been made beautifully, as you can see. So that answers that question too. All right. Do I miss the Parabolics? So far, I don't really notice too much difference when I'm loaded. It's when I'm unloaded, when there's not much in the vehicle, then you can kind of tell a bit of a difference. It's definitely stiffer. But usually when you're traveling, you're going to be loaded, right? There are no scrub rails or brush bars on the 79. Why is that? Good question. Number one, saving weight. Number two, kind of felt like I didn't really need them, and I wanted to change the look of the vehicle as well. I had scrub rails on before, and as you know, if you have watched a lot of the travel I did before, they did get heavily used. But I feel that they only got heavily used because they're actually protruding more out of the vehicle. So they're sitting further out. So on the Hilux build, I didn't put any brush rails on it, and I never really had an incident where I needed them. Although I didn't put the Hilux through everything that I would have put this vehicle through. But I feel that I don't need them, and I've saved a lot of weight by not putting them on. And I think it looks better without them too. I hope I answered everyone's questions. If I haven't, you can always put them down below and I'll get on the keyboard and do some keyboard warring, answering your questions. So thank you very much for watching again, and coming up, lots of travel. in the 79 series, because the 3 things that were stopping me from traveling before, COVID, 79 series not being finished, and the third one, which I'll discuss later on because it's a big thing that you'll find out about in another video, all those things have transpired or been sorted. So, travel we go. See you later.